Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh play day. And I love play days. Not just because I've finished some customs, even though that's few and far between, but people sending me stuff, ordering things and getting it and being like, holy moly, look at this thing. There's just a feeling you get when you put something unique on the shelf. For me, it just makes me want to dance a jig. There are so many talented people out there. But there's also other types of playing, like picking something up at the store hoping it'll work with your 1/12 collection, or an alternative to what we're getting already. Going down the aisle and you see something that catches your eye and you think, you know what? I wasn't aware of that. Or I wrote it off as something else, but now that I see it in person, First up, here's something I ran across at Target yesterday. The Hasbro Epic Hero Series Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Groot, Cosmo, and Rocket. Now, I think this is marketed at kids. It's got basic articulation, and it's a smaller size. I was interested in this. The Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Cosmo seems big. And now that I have it in hand, yeah, we'll get to that. And I have to say, this isn't bad. It's a dog in a spacesuit. Again, basic articulation. There's swivels at the hips or shoulders. Four hips, whatever. The head turns, the tail swivels. This was the big thing I was looking for, and it seems a little small, but this seems very big. So there's some kind of in-between scale that I'm looking for. Looking at reference pictures, though, it seems this is closer than this. It is $25 though, so it's not cheap. It's the price of a Marvel Legends figure. But if you're not planning on buying the whole Guardians wave, like, I'm kind of iffy on some, but I did get Star-Lord and I got Rocket. This Cosmo will stand in for now, I guess, until I either build this or something else comes along. I guess this could pass as a baby Rocket. Again, it may be slightly small, but not too bad. Groot isn't going to work, though. He does have this nifty attachment thing, though, and now that I look at it, that's gotta be on purpose. This set gives Rocket some pistols instead of the big freaking gun he comes with. Something else I've played around with the past couple of weeks is the Mezco 1/12 Collective 89 Batman. And this is as far as I've gotten. I haven't pulled anything else out of the box. It's just been the figure itself. Well, okay, I replaced the head. The one on it in the package is the moving eyeball ones with the stick sticking out back here. And for the most part, I like it. I haven't done any crazy posing. The big thing out of the package, though, is putting this cape on. There's a plastic ring in the middle of all this cloth, and then there's some wires running down every other scallop. Is that what it's called? A scallop? Seam? Something. And then the neck tapers out slightly so it locks down on top. My problem out of the package was this would not easily go on this. I saw some people just putting it on there and then letting the magnet do the work, and yeah, that's possible. But I sure wanted that thing to fit down there. That's when I noticed that they had material sticking out into the ring, and that was just bunching up in between and not allowing it to fit over this. What I ended up doing was taking my side cutters for models and snipping some of that out. Not the ring itself, but the cape material that was going into it. You have to line up the key on the back, and then it just slips down over that piece and stays locked on. Magnet, boom, that's it. I do need to heat that up, bring it down. And I've seen people take 20 gauge wire and just slipping it up into the ones that don't have wires. For the time being, I've just been raising the arms and pinching the cape down in between it. That way it's not sticking too far out, but it looks like it's laying in front of them. I do like the presents on the shelf. Well, if I can keep this damn belt down, it keeps wanting to ride up. And I'll eventually mess with all the rest of the stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do a review, but was it worth 3 years? I don't know. I need to mess with it more. My big thing is trying to get it to look forward. He just constantly wants to look up. That may be something with the magnets. I need to reposition. I'm Batman. I already did a short on this where I took Marvel Legends Howard the Duck parts and put it on a Jazzwares 4-inch Fortnite Jonesy. But I thought I'd throw it in here too, because I do like it. Now, I don't know who came up with this recipe. I'm just following in smarter people's footsteps. Man, this made it so much better, because out of the box, the Marvel Legends Howard the Duck, he wasn't mobile, at least from the waist down. Perfect world, I would change out the legs because I love the proportions on this, but I just threw this onto here, and then now I have full range of motion. I can pose him around. I did have to paint the hat to match the suit because it was the brown of this, but overall, it's not too complicated. Dremeling a neck hole so I could put the head down in, and That's it. If you watch my Creality Resin 3D printer review, you've seen this Alan Davis Nightcrawler head. But I'm gonna look at it again. This is the stock head that I repainted to just make it a bit more shadowy. And then I got this Cockrum Nightcrawler head from Casting Cave. And while that's staying on my shelf with that era of X-Men, in my heart of hearts, I've always loved the Alan Davis Nightcrawler. Excalibur was always my jam. Fanplastic 4 was kind enough to send me his sculpt file so I could print it out, which I did, painted it up, and now I have an Excalibur Nightcrawler. He also sent me some Captain Britain head files that I'm working on. Ooh, so many straight lines to paint. That was my biggest gripe. Braddock wears a helmet type piece over his head, not a mask. So I'll paint this one to match up this version of the uniform, and then this one will be the one with the diamonds. Hopefully, eventually. I'm still working on it. I'm not even sure if I'm happy with this body. I just went for the shoulders and pecs, and it's awfully veiny. You know, there's a lot of striations. I want Captain Britain to be a bit smoother. Or maybe I'll just paint it up and call it good. Eventually. Another custom I've had in the works for a while is Willow the Wisp. Can you tell I was on vacation for a few weeks? Just piecing parts together, throwing some paint here and there, trying things out. This is a Marvel Legends cloak body with a Sentry head. When the Sentry figure was revealed, I didn't even care because in my head, this doesn't look like Sentry. And it's not like I'm a huge Sentry fan anyway, so I just let it pass me on by. And then on the forums, I can't remember how it came about, but somebody was talking about the wispy hair. And my brain went to Willow the Wisp. I thought, you know what? That seems like it would be pretty easy to do. I just hand painted the green on, and then for the logo, I've been getting more and more into water slide decals, as we'll see here in a minute, and that's what this is. In fact, you can kind of see the edge still sticking up in places. The middle came out transparent. All that printed was the black outline with the pointies. I came back in, painted that, of course, bled into the black part, so I came back with a Gundam marker, drew that on to the best of my ability. So if you get super close to it, it's rough. I'm going to be looking at it most of the time like this, or on the shelf. So, hey, look, it's that guy. I think his name was Willow the Wisp or something. And I didn't have to do anything to the head. It just already looked like the character. The hair flowing out, not giving a damn. Aloofness, just ready to... So I expect Hasbro to announce this figure here in the next 2 or 3 months. I also decided to redo Molten Man. Again, remember vacation, just, hey, I'm gonna throw this at the wall, see what sticks. This is Marvel Legends Namor to give him the scaly shorts and the muscles and the feet. That was the biggie. With the 5-pack Molten Man head and hands, and then the forearms from a Loki, I think, because Namor had the bracers on. And then I also had to cut the wings off the ankles and fill those in. And directly after I did that, someone went, hey, couldn't you just use the Loki lower legs too, and then plug the Namor feet on since you want the bare feet? And I was like, that would have been easier. From there, I based it with a gloss black and then hooked up the airbrush for the first time in years and used Spastic's Mirror Chrome. It is a bit finicky, hard to work with, but surprisingly, I got a nice, or close to nice finish first try. Then I came in with Spastic's Candy Yellow. The black kind of shines through on the low points, giving it a shadow effect. And then the Mirror Chrome gives a slight reflectiveness underneath. Overall, it's the effect I was going for Molten Man. Expensive custom though. It's more expensive than usual, where I'm taking $25, $30 figures, tearing them up, putting them together. I had to buy an airbrush compressor in order to get this done. I bought this can first because I thought, well, I'll just spray it on. And then I realized, oh no, I have this old bottle of Mirror Chrome. So, hey, I want to get into more customizing. That means more airbrushing. I might as well splurge. I mean, now or never. Quentin Quire. Do I need to explain why I made this one? Marvel Legends recently announced their own Kid Omega, and when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, that's neat, but that's not really what I think of when I think of Quentin. This is what I picture. And oddly enough, I've had this head for a while now. Rebo Bolito on Instagram sent me a care package a while back, and this was in there. But at that time, I didn't have, it wasn't the push to make it, to track down fodder to make the body and everything else. But after I saw the Marvel Legends version, it was like, oh wait, head in there. Let's build one. And I pretty much followed his recipe. It's a Mattel Lex Luthor from Batman vs. Superman, I think, all the way down to the knee. From there down, I used a Jurassic Park Ellie Sattler. That way I didn't have to paint any skin tone. Gave me some boots. All I had to do was paint the clothes black, the shirt red, paint the head, which involved some skin tone, some pink, and putting some water slide decals in the eyes while avoiding the glasses, which was a pain in the ass. But my big problem was going to be the shirt, and again, this is what pushed me into doing my own water slide decals. And I kind of took the graphic and made it smaller so it would avoid the ab joint. But the effect's there. And now I have my own Quentin Quire, the one I want on the shelf. He's teenager size compared to other X-Men, and he'll fit right along with my custom beak, whose parts also came from Reba Bolito, now that I think about it. I need more new X-Men. Here is a head upgrade from I Bent My Man Thing. The Marvel Legends version was just a little young for my preference. This ages him a bit. It brings the hairline back while still having some swoop to it. It makes the tattoos more prominent, and overall, it just has a more bad guy kind of feel to it. It makes me like this figure even more. And plus, Benty's just a badass. Look at that. Have I mentioned Rebel 10 Customs before and her absolute mastery of the soft goods? Well, let me speak the good word for a minute. Look at this. Like Sentry, when Marvel Legends announced this version of Thor, I looked at it and said, neat, but I don't need it. Then this cape arrived in the P.O. box, and I thought, okay, maybe I will need it. This is what came on the figure. All I did was slice this away right here, and now this flows down and I can do this or bring it around and up and back and down. It is so much more dynamic now. This kite on the back, there's only so many options. In fact, there's one option. Hang there. And now that I have it, it'll go with Galactus if I ever get around to opening that box. But there's also this. Again, I just posted a short about this with the recipe and everything. It's essentially a Shriek body with some Blink boots, a Rogue head, Miss Elizabeth hair, Storm belt painted white, and then a Rebel 10 Customs half shirt. And I have an 80s Rogue. When I went to glue the hair on, I did get it slightly crooked, but most angles, I'm not even going to notice. My goal was the 80s look, and now I have it on the shelf. Yeah, the greens don't match, but that doesn't bother me. It's paintless, except for the white in the hair and the white on the belt. Just have it on the shelf like this, being a badass 80s Rogue. Next up is another P.O. Box pickup from Looper Customs. Note says, hey Robo, hopefully everything made it in one piece, which these days in the post office, you just never know. Included are 2 Zalbar missing accessories. I figured you could get some use of Wookiee bodies in building your Wookiee army. And I can always use more Wookiee bodies. I don't know what it is, but I love these things. Especially the Zalbar body, because it's the updated Chewbacca with the single joint in the torso, the softer hands, it just moves better. 1 ATST Pilot Prototype Light Gray, and 1 ATST Pilot made on Bodhi body with Zalbar shoulder straps. The light gray ATST Pilot on a TIE Pilot body and 3D printed the upper torso. That's interesting. Okay. Sculpted the boots and gloves on the Bodhi body. And the ATST heads are kit bash of a Rebel Trooper head with the helmet from Imperial Officer and 3D printed goggles. That's pretty damn sweet. And not to get cryptic, but this is perfectly timed because I have another P.O. Box pickup that I need to open up eventually and take a look at. Now you can probably guess what it is. It's a huge box. So I don't know if Looper knew that I was getting that from somebody else. It's 2 different customizers. Y'all are crazy. And then there is Darth Jar Jar. Kit bash between old Obi-Wan and Jar Jar with some black dye and Kylo lightsaber blade. And that works really well with the clean lines of the Gungan aesthetic. There's that weapon, and then it gets nasty up with the blade. There's Obi-Wan. It's an overlay on the Jar Jar body that he dyed black. And then the robes. Misa be seeing you soon. Oh man, that is awesome. And then let's finish it off with some custom Joes. This is another P.O. Box pickup from Richard, who goes in the comments by Gerwal. And in this he says, I've started customizing figures and thought I'd send you a couple of new troops for your Cobra forces. They're mostly just repaints. The Stinger Driver is the earliest Cobra figure I remember from my childhood. The original was a gray repaint of the Cobra officer. Honestly, I'm surprised Hasbro hasn't done it already. I've never heard of the Stinger Driver, but seeing this in gray, Oh man, it just works so well. I can't remember if the officer already had these patches of gray on these pad parts, but I love the contrast. And it's even better against the black parts, along with the red peeking out. And then the face, just everything. I love this color scheme. Let's see if the hat is gray too. Will it scrape the paint? So worth it. Back holster, and it's painted gray too. And then this is what he says is his attempt at a Fwoosh bat. Spent a lot of time trying to decide on a blue. Hopefully it's appropriately Fwoosh blue. Oh, it's Fwoosh blue considering that it's hard to see against the background. It just looks so nice in this color scheme. This may be my favorite bat. And no, I'm not biased. Okay, maybe I'm biased. Flamethrower. Hands. Have the chest cover, again painted blue. The damaged chest cover, very nicely painted. And then, oh, I like the exposed gears and such. There's the backpack to hold the extra stuff. Again, look at the paint. Knuckle. Battle damaged head with the, look at the pink fire hose and gun. I was about to say, what weapons would I put on a Fwoosh bat? But you gotta have the fire and you gotta have the water because Fwoosh and Fwoosh. Look at those. I already loved the base figures, but in these color schemes, I like them even better. But here's my favorite part of the letter. So hopefully these can be nice additions to your troops, or at the very least, good fodder material. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do not sell yourself short. These are awesome. When I get my G.I. Joe display a-going, these are going to be front and center of the Cobra Troops. Well, okay, the Fwoosh bat may make its way to my Fwoosh-centric figure shelf where people have painted stuff up blue, and I like displaying all those together. But this, well, they're going on a shelf. Good fodder material. So at the end of the day, any day you get to play is a good day. If you're interested in anything you saw here, all the links are in the description. Even if they don't sell their items, their work, go give them a like. Show some love. Tell them Robo sent you. Or don't. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think. If you're happy with something, then go out, pursue it. Or pick up the paints and the sculpting material, the airbrushes, go buy a compressor, and do it yourself. Because it's possible. I just said this in the 3D printer review. If I can do it, yeah, anything is possible. But I also know my own limitations. So that's when I go out, buy casts or sculpts or paint jobs, because sometimes you just want something. You got to have it. So you get it. And you play. Always playing. Never stop playing. Because it's when you stop that you get old and crotchety and miserable. And just mad at the world. Nothing brings you joy anymore. So you got to keep playing.